Get the hell out of the Pentagon. Those are the words that Congressman Salud Carbajal told Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth during a House Armed Services Committee hearing on Thursday.
Carbajal seemed to grow impatient with Hegseth, and the moment turned tense. Let's take a look.
No. Not today, Hegseth. Yes or no?
Congressman, you know what a silly question that is.
But silly enough to warrant a very straightforward answer. Yes or no?
We all support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
You know what?
I'm
not going to waste my time anymore. You're not worthy of my attention or my questions. You're an embarrassment to this country. You're unfit to lead. And there's been bipartisan members of Congress that have called for your resignation. You should just get the hell out and let somebody competently lead this department.
Sheesh. Republicans also pressed Pete Hegseth during the House hearing, with Ohio GOP Representative Mike Turner attempting to throw a lifeline, but he actually got rattled by the Defense Secretary's response. Let's take a look at that.
I just want to help you out because people try to twist your words. You are not confirming in your testimony today that at the Pentagon there are plans for invading or taking by force Greenland, correct? That is not your testimony today.
All my testimony is that the Pentagon has plans for any number of contingencies.
It is not your testimony today that there are plans at the Pentagon for taking by force or invading Greenland, correct? Because I'm sure as hell hope that it is not your testimony.
We look forward to working with Greenland to ensure that it is secured from any potential threats.
During the same hearing, California Democrat Ro Khanna also pressed Hegseth on the deployment of National Guard members and Marines into Los Angeles. Khanna also asked if the Trump administration would abide by federal court orders on the matter. Let's watch that.
What I will tell you is my job right now is to ensure the troops that we have in Los Angeles are capable of supporting law enforcement in there.
Sir, I agree with that, but will you...
And we know we have the constitutional and
even,
statutory authority
that's fine, but can
to
you
do
just,
that.
Can you just assure us that you'll abide by the decisions of the courts?
We've always looked at the decisions. What I can say is we should not have local judges determining foreign policy or national security policy for the country.
A lot to get through there in Hegseth's testimony. The funniest one was the Mike Turner thing, right? Where he was just inviting him to rule out invading Greenland.
He was like, please don't make me defend this.
Right, and Hegseth was disinclined to do
I don't think it was that bad. I think his point about there's any number of random plans in the DOD for all kinds of contingencies, particularly when the president is talking about the potential of taking over effective ownership of Greenland. He's claimed with their permission. It could be possible that if they do that, that their current owners could be angry. I mean, we probably have plans in the Pentagon for like invading Guam. I mean, there's probably something for everything, but
there may be, but it shouldn't be that hard, it seems to me, to rule out invading Greenland, which would be actually a very serious act of colonization and isn't something that the U.S. should be in the business of entertaining.
Yeah, maybe Mike Turner phrased his question improperly by asking if there were plans drawn up, as opposed to, are you going to invade
Are you intending to invade Greenland?
I don't know. The whole Greenland thing I find is sort of like almost like a troll job at this point. I'm not even sure how real it is, but nonetheless, Hegseth obviously has been sort of a flashpoint for a lot of members of Congress and even members within the administration who were obviously horrified by this sharing of the war plans in the Signal chat, and also having a separate Signal chat with his wife where they were discussing sensitive information. Since then, he's been pretty scandal-free, I would say, but yeah, this was obviously pretty contentious.
Yeah, so look, in terms of Hegseth, I think that there is his ideology on one hand, and there's also his managerial abilities.
Yeah, competency.
Now, in the hearings, some of the kind of criticisms were a little on the prurient side about drinking or sexual behavior or whatever. But the more compelling argument, to my mind, was that he has not run anything of any size at all, and now he's in charge of the Pentagon. And so I think we have seen that inexperience show through, not only in terms of the Signal chat, but there has been all sorts of infighting in his circle. 4 or 5 members of his senior staff have now left. At least 2 or 3 were marched out of the building under accusations of leaking to the media.
Yeah,
so
which they vehemently deny.
Which they deny. And, I mean, I don't know whether they were or they weren't.
Right.
But the idea is, my point really is that the turmoil that he seems to bring around him would be dangerous in any large government agency, but especially so in the Pentagon.
Yeah, and they also have not had a public press briefing in months at this point. Okay. I think the last one was in either February or March. I'd have to go back and look at the exact dates, but they promised us that they were going to be incredibly transparent, that they were going to be having regular communication with the press. According to One America News employee who was just fired, that was at Department. That was at the Pentagon, right? Yeah, right. Gabby Cuchilla. She said that she was fired because she criticized the lack of press access that she received in the Pentagon, and talked about how they were requiring Pentagon officials to escort reporters down hallways and to always be next to them, meanwhile freezing them out on emails and press briefings. And I think that's a very legitimate criticism. And I mean, we've kind of seen the same thing. We had this early on press briefing that was great, and since then it's been pretty much radio silence. So,
yeah, and that criticism coming from a very, very pro-Trump or Trump-friendly outlet, of course. So that's
well, and not the outlet, but Gabby herself. The outlet.
And then she got fired for it apparently. In terms of the hearing, and I know we don't have that much time, but in the very first clip that we played, we showed a lot of the sort of theatrics about hearings, which a lot of people, including me, don't really love. But the question that preceded that from Congressman Carbajal was, do you think political allegiance to Trump is a requirement for serving our nation, either in uniform or as a civilian at the department? That does seem a fairly easy question to say no to, that service, whether in uniform or at the Pentagon, should not be dependent upon personal allegiance to the politics of any particular president. So I don't know why Hegseth was so mealy-mouthed about it, but there we are.
Yeah, you could just say pretty simply, political allegiance, no. Respect for the commander-in-chief, yes.
Yeah.
Boom. Easy. Yeah. Pay me the big bucks.
Make Amber Defense Secretary much easier.
Yeah, that's going to do it for us on Rising Live. Look out for more exclusive YouTube content coming your way today. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Hills YouTube channel so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we are now available anywhere you listen to podcasts. And I think that Mr. Robbie Suave is back next week.
I believe he is. And sadly, I won't join you next Friday because I have family in town. But I think I'm going to be chatting and debating with Mr. Suave at some point, who's re-emerging after his luxurious vacation wherever he's gone.
Yeah, he's always gone. It's crazy.
Libertarians for you. Say.
That's what it is. They don't want to work.
They don't want to work anywhere. State oppression. They don't want to see that. Anyway.
Well, I know that there's going to be a lot of news, certainly over the weekend, with the Israel-Iran situation. So make sure that you come back to Rising on Monday for all of the latest updates. And we will see you then. Everyone have a wonderful weekend.